and welcome to Angling For You. And today we're going to do a video of behind the Angling For You curtain, what it takes to make a YouTube channel, and well, primarily a fishing YouTube channel, and a little bit behind our scenes. What's it like? Can you live off it? Does it make enough money to live off? How do you make money on YouTube? How do you start a YouTube channel, fishing specific, and what does it take in regards to your time versus what do you get out of it kind of situation. Why do I do it, and all those kind of things. Now, there's obviously been some trials and tribulations over this year's, certainly into last year, with the Angling For You and people with their own opinions. I'm going to set that straight. We're not going to go into too much details because it's not about that. It's just about me giving you some information about Angling For You, not about other things. So, it all started in 2015. Prior to that, I'd had a little dabble with doing a channel called Course Fishing Fanatic. Especially, it was just to have a go, really, just do a little bit of filming, a really rubbish camera, no microphones. I got my brother-in-law who hates fishing to film it, and videos, they were okay, but it was a little bit drab, and to be honest, there was nothing about that time. Then comes 2015, and I'd had a little rethink, and I'd sort of not work in hotels as much, and I had a little bit more time, and I thought to myself, what can we do about that? Can we look at doing some filming and helping some people? I'm just going to turn my phone on silent because you just know that someone's going to ring me when we're filming. And so I started by looking around for a brand name and what I was going to do. So Angling Info was what I dropped on. It's quite catchy. It was obviously about angling and it gives you information, and that's pretty much what we're about. I met a guy called Lee Slater through a mutual friend, and I sort of became friends with him as I decided to do this, and I was saying, oh, I'm doing this. He'd never really done fishing, he did golf, and said, look, I'd like to try fishing and I'd like to come and help you. And he spent a lot of time sort of supporting the Facebook group, and you know, he'd jump on the odd videos of me teaching him the basics in fishing. And it set off, and he started to get a little bit of traction, and we started getting a few people that wanted to send us floats and things like that. And as you know, we went down, we got sponsored by some pole floats, and I'm not going to go into all that, but that didn't turn out in the end, and that's a bit of my naivety. And so this is the first lesson. If you've got a plan and you start off with a plan, when it benefits other people, sometimes you'll get people in that are really genuine, and we'll get onto that, and you'll get other people that will take advantage of your naivety if you're just starting it, like I was, and the excitingness of maybe a little bit of somebody giving you something for the wrong reasons, and that then didn't work for our favours. So what we did is in 2017 I decided to rebrand as Angling For You, and look, when you're building a channel, the biggest piece of advice I could do is be yourself, upload regularly. If you want it to be a success or for it to gain any traction, you have to be, number one, genuine person and relatable, easy to follow, and it needs to be entertaining. But all that captured up, it's got to be regular, otherwise people will just lose interest. Because if there's not one popping up every week or every sort of 10 days or so, then people are going to lose traction. So when I rebranded, that was something that I really thought about. I thought about the logo, and I thought about the message that I wanted to put through. And Angling For You, creating angling memories, was the brand name, and it just fit perfectly. It was just how I felt, just how I wanted it to be, about people and giving back and teaching and learning myself and enjoying time with people and meeting new people and just giving back to the sport. And that is where the Angling For You, so it's for everybody, that's involved in it. whether they're giving information to myself or vice versa. And we made it less around a celebrity angler base that we had done towards the end of Angling Info, which is not to say that, you know, there's nothing against the sponsored and professional anglers. It's just the angle of our channel was aimed at the everyday fisherman, and still is. We put in the odd things, like Tommy's done some great stuff for us and stuff like that, but it generically it is aimed at that. So that was my first thing. When you do it, you need to follow those simple steps. It needs to be relatable, you need to have a likeable factor, and you have to have a regular set of videos, and you need to be genuine. You need to be as the same as on the video as you are in real life, in my opinion. And that's how I was, and that's how I am still now. And so that was the ethos. Once I'd done that, I got an intro made. The intro that you see at the start of the videos is one that I went to just an online company and had a little look for around £20 to do that, and then that becomes your own little branding, as does the music. When you become a YouTube partner, which we'll get into, that allows you sort of music that is non-royalty, so you're not going to get charged for putting that music on your videos. But we'll go back into that. So we started Angling For You. Obviously Matt had been with me. I met Matt Richardson in Angling Info days. He came on the first members day that myself and Lee did, with his son, and we got friends through that. Obviously Matt was part of Angling Info, and he was definitely up for rebranding and restarting of Angling For You. Now when we did this, we obviously looked at social media. Now the Facebook group was something that we'd started and we'd done well, so we thought we'd continue that, but we worked on the ethos that it was a family orientated, no banter, no swearing, and that you could ask any question on there without having the fear or the feeling that you were getting ridiculed for it, because if you don't know it, you don't know it. So that is a big ethos to us compared to a lot of other sites, and banter sites are fine, you know, you expect it when you're on there, but for this is what we wanted to do. And for many years, you know, you have to block certain people, there's issues that you come through, but we run that with a very positive outset, and we'll get back into that story a little bit later. Dropping back onto the YouTube, I regularly look at what's working, and I found a niche that works for me, and I would look for other people. We don't get ridiculous views all the time, and like I said, it's not always about that. But we found a good niche of reviewing products. I really enjoy reviewing products. I feel like personally that it comes over well, just from the feedback that I get, and I think it's you know, it's fair to say that when it comes to fishing reviews for products, independent ones, we're probably up there with majority of the people on YouTube in the UK, which is nuts to think that. And that is a niche that we do hold. But equally, we enjoyed doing the features and the challenge videos and all sorts of the other stuff. And what I always realised is that if we're going to be a multiple outlet for different videos and different areas of fishing, the views won't be as popular as if you just stick to one thing. So for example, you got your bag up TVs and your fish on TVs and things like that, which are purely aimed at match fishing. They are perfect at that. They're brilliant, they're funny, they give you information about the venue, and they're really consistent with that match orientated footage, and they get a stable 10 to 15,000 views per video for that, whereas mine can range from anywhere from 3.5 up to that 10 to 12, depending on what the video is. And that's where that doesn't personally bother me, because I like to give the variety. But when you're thinking of building your channel, you need to think that, do I want to be a niche where I only do this specific thing, or do I want to do a broader, wider audience? And that's what you've got to decide. Personally, for the way we set up our channel, then that is what it is. Now with this, Some of you may know this, some of you may not know this. I film and edit every single video. There is no middleman, there's no other person, nobody gets involved with that. And that's not because I haven't involved them, it's just that nobody wants to do the filming, or has the time. They want to fish as well. So when I film a video, I'm constantly moving the cameras around to try and get the best angles and shots. And sometimes you can't do as good shots as you can see when you watch your Prestons and your Matrix videos, where they're all super sexy shots and zoom in shots, unless I have the very rare occasion when I have somebody with me that maybe comes over for a sandwich and fancies doing a little bit of footage. So that is one thing. And the editing I taught myself, so completely self-taught, and I learned to do the editing to upskill myself, but also I could then edit and know what I'm putting in and out of videos and understand when I'm filming how that looks. So that's another thing to think about. If you're going to do it, it's number one, who's filming for you, or how you're filming, and what that equipment is, and who is going to edit it, whether that's going to be yourself or you're going to get your friends to do it or whatever. So the equipment wise, I've got a Sony AX7i, I think it is. It might be wrong, but it's something like that. They're about £2,500, so it's not cheap. I also have a Sony Handycam 4K additional camera, and I did have a GoPro Hero 8, which I gave away a little time ago, which we'll upgrade probably sometime in the summer. I've got a Rode mic on, which I'm using now, which is an indoor style mic. Really only use it for these kind of things. And I have a Sony wireless microphone, but also I've got another wireless microphone which I use predominantly, and I can't remember the name of it for the life of me, Boya, which just sits in my pocket with a wire up, and I feel that that's the best one for wireless miking. That is the biggest piece of advice I can ever give you. I did a wired mic for years when I first started, and the best thing I ever did is go to a wireless. It's just the nuts. You should definitely go that way. So that's another thing, the money that you're going to put into the kit. It's better to save up and get a better camera and a better editing platform before you start than to do it with poorer quality, unless you haven't got a choice monetarily. You haven't got the choice. I would do that because you'll just get better results, and you'll get more positive feedback because people can see a little better. So that's what I would say on the equipment, and we're always here to support if you want to ask. I personally asked Rich Chappie from Winning Ways what cameras they used, and that's where I got my sort of feedback. Moving on from that, when you start a channel, always good to have a little 4, 5 or 6 videos done as a little cluster start to give you a head start. If you can ever shoot a session where you can get multiple films done, then do that, and then you've got a little bit of 2 or 3 weeks back up, and that will give you the benefit, especially when you're in the summers or the autumns, when you know the winter's coming. It's going to be a bit more difficult, and you might get footage only 1 out of 3 sessions. That's definitely worth getting those collected together. So now, the journey of starting angling for you. I've been doing it, it's roughly 7 years, is it? A bit more than that. And we'll go to the question of all questions, money. Now, I can tell you, in the first 2 or 3 years, we made maybe £30 to £40 a year, which is insane. Then we had the year before COVID, and we made about £700 for the year. That is not a month, a year. And this is in pounds, because I convert mine into pounds, so you can see it. And then we had the COVID boom, and obviously we thought, what we'll do, not thinking of money, thinking of my mental health and other people's, was to just do a bulk video a day. It was crazy, it was chaos, but it gave me something to do, and it also helped a lot of people that I've chatted to about. So we had a good year, and roughly about £3,000-ish for that COVID year. That's the full year. Now what we did with that is obviously put that money towards getting this camera that you're watching on now, which was the majority of that, plus the additional extras of stuff, pretty much paid for that. And then the last 2 years have been around £1,800 ish for the year. So that's total disclosure of what that is, and if you want to tally all that up, that'll give you a total value of what the lifetime is. And really it's only started to turn over the last couple of years, and last year it's progressively gone down from that good year, because that was a boom of COVID, and that most people were watching stuff from the home, and that's just how it is. And like I say, I'm not really bothered by it. Like I don't do it for the money. So this is the other thing, and we'll get on to how that breaks down. So when you get, I want to say if it's 10,000 views, or something like that, maybe it might be 100,000 views collectively, YouTube will get in touch with you and say, do you want to become a YouTube partner? And that means that they'll give you AdSense on the videos. So that's when you see a video come up on any YouTube, they'll give you an AdSense, and I think it's CPM or CPR or something like that is sort of your cost per view, something like that. So the more popular you are, the more you'll get per 1,000 views or something like that. So for example, like Mr. Beast, if you ever watch that, one of the biggest YouTubers out there, he will have like $6-7 per 1,000 views or something like that, whereas ours is like $2, less than that, way less than that, $1.50, something like that. And that's just how it works out, because obviously he's getting mega millions, and then they will raise that up because obviously they're benefiting from that when they watch, they put the advertisements there. So with ours, we're only a little channel in the big pond, so we don't get loads of money. It works out anywhere from 130 a month up to maybe $2 to $250 in the height of summer. The best one I've ever got is £333, and that was in the COVID, in one of the summer months. And again, all this, if you search angling for you YouTube earnings, you'll find it. So this is the other thing, if you search it up and it's coming, there's one on there that says that they earn 1,000 to 38,000 a year in dollars, is a load of crap. So load of crap, and that is just totally fake. The real ones you'll see when you look and it's making 100 and something a month or something, they're the real ones. That's the real ones. I can't remember what it's called, YouTube, I don't know what it's called, I forget. That there's so many of these little proxies, and you can see any YouTubers breakdown on there. So that's really with the money. If you want to be making it as a living, you'd have to do stupid views. So some of you might know Carl and Alex, or Fishing with Carl now. They've got, I think, over 1 million subscribers. So the views that regularly get 100,000, 200, 300,000, sometimes 1 million views. They're making about £1,300 to £1,400 a month. So it's nothing. If you put that in a consideration of a job, it is absolutely nothing. So, you know, if you want to earn mega money, you have to have mega views. So on top of that, there's American tax and stuff like that. So you'll put for a tax return there. I personally do a self-assessment in a way, so it's all on that for me. But because I do stuff like for work and stuff. But there's that element. But if you're earning minimal sort of money, then it's not a lot of it's taxable. If you're earning like pence or like 20-30 quid a month, so it only comes in when you're maybe earning a little bit higher. And like I said, we're not really. It's like I said, 1,800 a year roughly. And for me personally, I invest that in the channel, and I invest that into the equipment, it pays for my fuel, it pays for sometimes the bait or the equipment that we do, and it pays nowadays for the electricity to do all the editing, because that costs a fortune. But even so, the thing is, for me, with the Angling For You, whether I've had people working with me like Matt or other people like that, which have been absolutely superb, and I wish him all the best with his new venture. He only did the Facebook and only wanted to do the Facebook, and didn't want to get involved in the YouTube side. Did the odd video, and didn't want to get involved in that side of it. So when it comes to money, yes, I've had the money, and I've put it back, like I say, into equipment and stuff. But even if I hadn't, I do all the work for it. I also do the Facebook as well, but I do it to enjoy. So the money comes back to fuel the fishing, and probably spend way more on top of that with what I swap and change to do. So I know there's a stigma around there that they feel like some people feel like that I should have give loads to Matt, or I should give loads to the group. I don't think it's about that. I think most people on here will agree that the work that gets put into it and done, like I say, I am not bothered about getting money, but it's a byproduct of doing what it's done. It's not there to make money to sustain life. It's not enough to do that. I do it because I enjoy it, and I love giving back, whether it does 1,000 views or it does 20,000 views. That doesn't really matter to me if it helps one or two people to do something new or help somebody with a product. And I did get quite a lot of stigmatization over that, and people thinking I'm making hundreds of thousands or thousands, and keeping that all to myself and just doing videos to earn money. That's not true. So if you are going to make your own YouTube, like I say, you will need millions of views to earn big money. So we do anywhere in the off season now around 59 to 60,000 views a month. To get probably 100 quid, you need to do about 50,000 views, something like that. In my current CPM, you need to do about 50,000 views. So 200,000 views is roughly, 100,000 views is roughly 200 quid, and we're really only doing to the 100,000 plus mark when you're in the summer, and that's just because people are out fishing and they're more interested in it. So that's a big thing to think of. And then coming on to additional things, so comments and stuff with your YouTube channel. Personally, I recommend that you put post approval on. It's something that I've done forever. You get some wallies on there, and like I say, we're family orientated, so I want people to post the comments. I'll see them first and I'll put them up. If someone's been a wally and they just do something ridiculously stupid, I'll say a load of spiteful, horrible stuff, which is very rare nowadays, to be fair, then nobody will see that. I'll read the first line. If it's hateful, it'll just get deleted and I won't read the rest of it. Personally, I'm a chef, so I've got quite a high tolerance for that kind of behaviour, and I can brush it off with literally no worry whatsoever. But other people, and if you're making a channel and you're watching this, and you do find hurtfulness from that, you are making yourself a public figure. In essence, you are putting your face to something, so you will get pushback. People will disagree, and you've got to expect that. It is if you're a tender person that struggles with conflict and struggles with being told negative things, don't do it. Just don't do it, because it can have a sort of a negative feedback for you, and the last thing I'd want for you to do is have a sort of mental issue over that. You do have to be thick-skinned sometimes, especially when you're starting out. You maybe not have the best cameras, the best angles. The people will watch these videos, and I love you all. Everyone's got their own opinion, and that's right. That's world. That is life. You have freedom of speech. You should have your opinions, and people definitely use it. I think fishing is probably the most opinionated sport out there. So do prepare yourself for that, and I would put post approval on, because then it allows you to not just delete those and other people won't see them. So it's funny sometimes because they waste their life writing all this thing and then you just delete it and no one sees it. And if I don't know if you ever noticed that they also take off the negative likes now, the dislikes, thumbs down on videos, so you can still press it, but the person that's the video is can't see them unless they go into analytics. So again, that's supporting mental health and stuff like that. So they're all positive things. So from there and where we are now and what we are looking at the future now, we've been very, very lucky to have people like Midi Tackle, Pono's Bungs, Progen, the guys at Fishing Tackle and Bait, all to help the channel. Now the biggest thing I will say personally, and especially if you're young and you're watching it, you'll be really eager to get sponsored. Now I've had lots of opportunities and I've taken some of them and I shouldn't have done, and it's bitten me. And I'm not saying that people will always do that. Personally, you've got to think about what you want your channel to be. If you want it to be the next big match angler, I understand the sponsorship route. I totally do. But sponsorship comes with an agenda. People will want you to do things for that sponsor, and you are sort of limited to what you are going to talk about with a tackle. Now, I aren't sponsored, and I won't be, purely on that basis. That I want it to be unbiased and natural, and I can have my say no matter what. Now, I'm lucky, like I said, we've got Midi Tackle, we've got mid-water luggage, we've got Pono's Bungs, we've got Progen in the past, we've obviously got the guys at Fishing Tackle and Bait, and various other people that have supported us by either lending us things and by giving us things so we can give back to you guys, and they're all things that have come from us doing what we do. Now, I would wholeheartedly say to you, don't chase people. People will come to you if you are doing it right. If you're doing it and it's genuine, it might take 2 years, it might take 3 years like it did with us, you know, but eventually people will see that you're genuine and you're constant and you're starting to get a steady following, and they will help you out, and they will, you know, you'll be doing things for them, you'll be testing certain things, but it's only on an honesty point of view. So when I did things for Bait Tech, it was looking at their bait. I've done tons of bait companies over the years, but I've always said the same thing. It needs to be just me being allowed to say what I want to say, and same with Midi, and same with everything else. If it's rubbish and I don't like it, then I'm going to have to say it. I did that with the Maver box and things like that. That's just how it is. And again, so you need to find out what your niche is. If you want to go down that line of you want to be sponsored and and you want to stick to some brands and you want to plug them, that's fine. If you don't, then you need to think about that. For example, you'll see on my videos I have Pono's Bungs at the end, and I also have Fishing Tackle and Bait. Now, that's not that I'm sponsored by either of those. It means that they're people that I've selected that I really believe in and that have been great to us and support the members with, you know, you think percent off in the shops and supporting members days and things like that. And we've got a relationship where I can help them out with filming, I can review their products, but also they can help us out as well. And that's why I have both of those on there, because I think it's really important that to give back to those people. They're local trade, they're UK people, same as mid-water luggage, and that you're supporting a non-commercial brand. There's so many people support commercial brands that it's sometimes nice to do the smaller people, and that's the ethos that obviously Angling For You is about. So I know it's a lot of information, and I know a lot of it is very open and honest, and see-through. I could delve way into some of the issues and things that we've had, but I'm not going to do that because it's not what it's about. All I'll say is surround yourself with people that you trust and that you really get on with, and that enjoy the same things as you, if you're going to do that, which I have done. And certainly in Angling For You, me and Matt had a fantastic time together. We've done amazing things, and super around the channel. Matt has now gone his own separate way. That is fine. He's doing his own thing. But what for me is about angling for you and my YouTube journey, I ain't going to change anything. I think what I've taken out of it is that you've just got to enjoy it. Don't force it. If you're going there to video to force it just to get a video done because you need to get one out for the people, and I personally have been privy to that as well. I've done that where, not from a monetary point of view, from a point of view of I've tried to get some out and I've thought I've done them and I thought I could have done that better, and I did it just because I want to be regularly uploading, and I've been busy with work and things like that. So I'd say, you know, try and plan it that you do have the quality rather than the quantity, and just be yourself, be genuine. But it's not easy. It's not given to you. It takes a lot of my time up, a lot of editing time, a lot of patience from the family. But my wife now understands that I love fishing and I love giving back to people, and it's a sport and it's great for my mental health and things like that. Although parts of it's been really difficult for my mental health from a point of view sometimes. But you know, what I take out of it now is I just enjoy my session, and I think if you just enjoy your fishing, you make a great video, it's informative, and people watching hopefully see that you're just doing something that you love and that you're giving back to people. And this is why I made the video the other day about the top 5 YouTubers, if you've not watched it. And that is about, it doesn't matter who you're watching. It doesn't matter if it's me you're watching, whether it's Dave Wood, whether it's Andy May. It doesn't matter. If you are getting the information, then it's great. And that's why I push 5 new channels that I sort of watch. So then it's someone else to watch because it's something different, and it's somebody that does something else, and it's somebody that you're learning off or watching, or you know, and that's what it's about. And I think the biggest thing I can say about making the YouTube channel, and I'm going to go back to what I said at the start, is you've got to be yourself. You've got to make sure that you're trying to be as genuine as you can with what you're doing. You need to have regularly stable content around the niche that you want to be doing. Enjoy it and put that across when you're doing your video. You're gonna get flack off people. You're gonna have to accept that, whether you do social media as well as you do YouTube. People will always have their say, and that's fine, and you just not got to take that too much to heart. And it does sting sometimes, but you know, that's what it is. And sometimes you can learn off it. Sometimes people do it in a way that's constructive, and you can think, you know what, that's a good idea. I'll have a look at that, and then just get the best equipment that you can get for your budget if you're going to film. Like I say with fishing, always invest in the best landing net you can afford. Handle. You definitely need to do that with your microphone. The microphone is the source of what they're going to listen to and everything. Majority of the time with any most sort of handycam or 4K cam that's cut, you know, 600 or above quid, you're going to get decent enough picture. But that camera needs the right microphone, especially if you're facing away, got wind and stuff like that. That is what people need to hear you, and that's the most hassle I used to get early doors, is get a better microphone. And you know, once you do that, you know, mine were about 120 quid for a radio mic. I've obviously got a Sony one as well, which is about 300 quid, but you know, you don't have to be expensive. 120 quid, and it's brilliant. I got a rechargeable AA battery pack, which I bought independently, and I use those to recharge my batteries for it, and it's brilliant. Get a good SD card. I get 128 gig. I have 128 gig, which is my main one, which should never run out, unless you're doing some match ones where you're having it running for a long time. And then I have a backup 64 gig and a backup 32 gig as well. There's some mini micro ones as well to go in GoPros and whatnot. And you might just have to build that over time. Good solid tripod for your cameras to go on. Obviously, you're going to be on unstable ground because you're fishing, and sometimes you have to stick in a bush and stuff. Always remember where your kit is. You don't want it where it's going to get blown over or fall into water, which I've done once in the very past, which is not good. And enjoy what you're doing. You know, I'm here for advice, but like I say, when it comes to the money, and you might be shocked, some of you that are around YouTube might know a bit better and be like, oh yeah, that's about what I thought. But some of you might be shocked and might think, I've had people think I do it as a living. I don't do it as a living. I do it as I've got a really busy job. This is just a fun thing, and you don't make £1 million off it. And if you think that you can sustain a good living off getting the kind of views, well, I mean, we've got nearly 17,000 subscribers. We're doing about 1,300,000 views a year, and that's not enough to sustain. It's not the yearly. It's not even half of my monthly wage. So you know you can't live off it unless you're making millions of views a month. Millions. To be earning a 2.5 to 3 grand wage a month, you're gonna have to be doing 4 to 5, maybe 6 million views a month, which obviously is mental. That's like 3 years or more worth of what we would do. So you know that's mega money. So just take that into consideration when you're doing it. If you're doing it for that reason, then it's the wrong reason. But if you're getting it into it, and if you're doing it because you want to be a sponsored angler and you're in a talent pathway, or you're a junior and you know you want to be seen and social media is the best way to do it. As long as it's done correctly, you can use that as your CV. And obviously these big brands, everything's done by video now. Everything's reviewed by there. Look at Rob Swan, you know, he's got his own video, he does his own videos, Alex Doherty, and the list goes on and on and on. And it's a good thing to show sponsors and things like that. So that's also a good way of doing it. So a lot of information. This video will only suit a certain amount of people, but it's a dive behind the curtain to angling for you. It's not as easy as you may think. Sat here 3 hours sometimes editing just one video, sometimes even longer, to get it exactly as I want it. You got to think of taking photos for your stills, for your little tagline. It sells by that little picture that comes up, and you know it's a lot of work. And obviously we run a big Facebook group alongside of it, which is even more work. But you know we enjoy it, and you know I've got Matt Jackson, my other friend, called Matt, and Nick Pritchard, obviously, that help out on that. We have some really good members that are also outstand, answer questions and stuff like that as well. So superb people all around. So yeah, like I said, a lot of information, a lot for you to take in. Hopefully it's give you a little dive behind the curtain of angling for you, and yeah, we'll see what that brings. Hopefully it gives you an idea of, if you're starting up, what you got to look out for, the potential pitfalls, and gives you a little glimpse into the world of YouTube. So thank you very much for watching. If you want to join us on the Facebook group at Angling For You, there's loads of wonderful members on there. If you want to sell anything, then there's buy or sell on the Angling For You buy and sell on Facebook as well. If you want to just look at photos and see what we've been up to, go on angling_for_you on Instagram. And if you could like, share and subscribe and join the Angling For You family on YouTube, that would be fantastic. And there's lots of different playlists on there if you want to search through at your leisure and have a look about what we've been up to in the last 7 years. So until the next one, guys, thank you very much for watching. Deadlines.